Good evening. My name is Mitchell Teatherford and I am a playwright. Tonight I'll be reading an original work, Long Day's Journey into Night. Characters: James Tyrone, Mary Kevin Tyrone, his wife, James Tyrone Jr., their eldest son, Edmund Tyrone, their younger son, Kathleen, second girl. Scenes: Act 1, living room of the Tyrone summer home, 8:30 a.m. of a day in August 1912. Act 2, Scene 1, the same around 12:45. Scene 2, the same about half an hour later. Act 3, the same around 6:30 that evening. Act 4, the same around midnight. Act 1. Scene: living room of James Tyrone summer home on a morning in August 1912. At rear are two double doorways with portieres. The one at right leads into a front parlor with the formally arranged set appearance of a room rarely occupied. The other opens on a dark, windowless black parlor, never used except as a passage from living room to dining room. Against the wall between the doorways is a small bookcase with a picture of Shakespeare above it, containing novels of Balzac, Zola, Stendhal, philosophical and sociological works by Schopenhauer, Nietzsche, Marx, Engels, Kropotkin, Max Stirner, plays by Ibsen, Shaw, Strindberg, poetry by Swinburne, Rossetti, Wilde, Ernest, Dowson, Kipling, etc. In the right wall rear is a screen door leading out on the porch, which extends halfway around the house. Further forward, a series of three windows looks over the front lawn to the harbor and the avenue that runs along the waterfront. A small wicker table and an ordinary oak desk are against the wall, flanking the windows. In the left wall, a similar series of windows looks out on the grounds in the back of the house. Beneath them is a wicker couch with cushions, its head toward rear. Farther back is a large glassed-in bookcase with sets of Dumas, Victor Hugo, Charles Lever, three sets of Shakespeare, the world's best literature of 50 large volumes, Hume's History of England, Thayer's History of the Consulate and Empire, Smollett's History of England, Gibbon's Roman Empire, the miscellaneous volumes of old plays, poetry, and several histories of Ireland. The astonishing thing about these sets is that all the volumes have the look of having been read and reread. The hardwood floor is nearly covered by a rug, offensive in design and color. At center is a round table with a green shaded reading lamp, the cord plugged in one of the four sockets, and the chandelier above. Around the table within reading light range are four chairs, three of them wicker armchairs, the fourth a vanished oak rocker with leather bottom. It is around 8:30. Sunshine comes through the windows at right. As the curtain rises, the family have just finished breakfast. Mary Tyrone and her husband entered together from the back parlor, coming from the dining room. Mary is 54, about medium height. She still has a young, grace figure, a trifle plump, but showing little evidence of middle-aged waist and hips. Although she is not tightly corseted, her face is distinctly Irish in type. It must once have been extremely pretty and is still striking. It does not match her healthy figure, but is thin and pale with the bone structure prominent. Her nose is long and straight, her mouth wide and full, sensitive lips. She uses no rouge or any sort of makeup. Her high forehead is framed by thick, pure white hair, accentuated by her pallor and white hair. Her dark brown eyes appear black. They are unusually large and beautiful, with black brows and long curling lashes. What strikes one immediately is her extreme nervousness. Her hands are never still. They were once beautiful hands with long tapering fingers, but rheumatism has knotted the joints and warped her fingers that now they have an ugly crippled look. One avoids looking at them, the more so because one is conscious she is sensitive about their appearance and humiliated by their inability to control the nervousness which draws attention to them. She is dressed simply, but a sure sense of what becomes her. Her hair is arranged in a fastidious care. Her voice is soft and attractive. When she is merry, there is a touch of Irish lit in it. Her most appealing quality is the simple, unaffected charm of a shy, covenant girl. Youthfulness she has never lost, an innate, unworldly innocence. James Tyrone is 65, but looks 10 years younger, about 5 feet 8, broad-shouldered and deep-chested. He seems taller and slenderer because of his bearing, which has a soldierly quality of head up, chest out, stomach and shoulders squared. His face has begun to break down, but he is still remarkably good looking. A big, finely shaped head, a handsome profile, deep set, light eyebrows, brown eyes. His gray hair is thin with a bald spot like a monk's tonsure. The stamp of his profession is unmistakably on him, not that he indulges in any of the deliberate temperamental posturings of a stage star. He is by nature of preference a simple, unpretentious man whose inclinations are still close to his humble beginnings and the Irish farmer's forebears. But the actor shows in all of his conscious, unconscious habits of speech, movement, and gesture. These have the quality of belonging to his studied technique. His voice is remarkably fine, resonant, and flexible, and he takes great pride in it. His clothes assuredly do not costume any romantic part. He wears a threadbare, ready-made gray sack suit and shineless black shoes, a collarless shirt with a thick white handkerchief knotted loosely around his throat. There is nothing picturesquely careless about his get-up. It is commonplace shabby. He believes in wearing his clothes to the limit of usefulness. Is dressed now for gardening and doesn't give a damn how he looks. He has never been really sick a day in his life. He has no nerves. There is a lot of stolid, earthy peasant in him, mixed with streaks of sentimental melancholy and rare flashes of intuitive sensibility. Excuse me. Tyrone's arm is around his wife's waist as they appear from the black parlor entering the living room. He gives her a playful hug. Tyrone, you're a fine armful now, Mary. Those 20 pounds you've gained. Mary smiles affectionately. I've gotten too fat, you mean, dear. I really ought to reduce. None of that, my lady. You're just right. We'll have no talk of reducing. Is that why you ate so little breakfast? So little? I thought I ate a lot. You didn't. Not as much as I'd like to see, anyway. Oh, you. You expect everyone to eat the enormous breakfast you do. No one else in the world could without dying of indigestion. She comes forward to stand by the right side of the table. I hope I'm not as big a glutton as that sounds. But thank God I've kept my appetite and I've the digestion of a young man of 20. If I'm 65. You surely have, James. No one could deny that. She laughs and sits in the wicker armchair at the right rear of the table. He comes around in the back of her and selects a cigar from a box at the table and cuts off the end with a little clipper from the dining room. Jamie's and Edmund's voices are heard. Mary turns her head that way. Why did the boy stay in the dining room, I wonder? Kathleen must be waiting to clear the table. It's a secret confab. They don't want me to hear, I suppose. I bet they're cooking up some new scheme to touch the old man. She's silent on this, keeping her head turned toward the voices. Her hands appear on the tabletop, moving relentlessly. He lights his cigar and sits down in the rocker at the right of the table, which is his chair, and puffs contentedly. There's nothing like that first after breakfast cigar. It's a good one. And this new lot have the right mellow flavor. They're a great bargain, too. I got them deep cheap, dead cheap. It was McGuire put me onto them. I hope he didn't put you on to any new piece of property at the same time. His real estate bargains don't work out so well. I wouldn't say that, Mary. After all, he was the one who advised me to buy that place on Chestnut Street, and I made a quick turnover on it for a fine profit. I know, the famous one stroke of good luck. I'm sure McGuire never dreamed. Never mind, James. I know it's a waste of breath trying to convince you you're not a cunning real estate speculator. I've no such idea, but land is land. And it's safer than the stocks and bonds of Wall Street swindlers. But let's not argue about business this early in the morning. A pause. The voices are again heard, and one of them has a fit of coughing. Mary listens worriedly. Her fingers play nervously on the tabletop. James, it's Edmund you ought to scold for not eating enough. He hardly touched anything except coffee. He needs to eat to keep up his strength. I keep telling him that, but he says he simply has no appetite, of course. Of course, there's nothing takes away from your appetite like a bad summer cold. Yes, it's only natural. So don't let yourself get worried. Oh, I'm not. I know he'll be all right in a few days if he takes care of himself. But it does seem a shame he should have to be sick right now. Yes, it is bad luck. But you mustn't let it upset you, Mary. Remember, you got to take care of yourself, too. I'm not upset. There's nothing to be upset about. What makes you think I'm upset? Why, nothing. Except you've seemed a bit high-strung the past few days. I have? Nonsense, dear. It's your imagination. You really must not watch me all the time, James. I mean, it makes me self-conscious. Putting a hand over one of her nervously playing ones. Now, Mary, that's your imagination. If I watched you, it was to admire how fat and beautiful you looked. His voice is suddenly moved by deep feeling. I can't tell you the deep happiness it gives me, darling. To see you as you've been since you came back to us. Your dear old self again. He leans over, kisses her cheek impulsively, then turning back adds, with a constrained air. So keep up the good work, Mary. I will, dear. Thank heavens the fog is gone. I do feel all out of sorts this morning. I wasn't able to get much sleep with all that awful foghorn going all night long. Yes, it's like having a sick whale in the backyard. Kept me awake too. Did it? You had a strange way of showing your restlessness. You were snoring so hard I couldn't tell which was the foghorn. 10 foghorns couldn't disturb you. You haven't a nerve in you. You never have. Nonsense. You always exaggerate about my snoring. I couldn't. If you could only hear yourself once. A burst of laughter comes from the dining room. She turns her head, smiling. It's the joke, I wonder. It's on me. I'll bet that much. It's always on the old man. Yes, it's terrible the way we all pick on you, isn't it? You're so abused. Well, no matter what the joke is, it's a relief to hear Edmund laugh. He's been so down in the mouth lately. Some joke of Jamie's, I'll wager. He's forever making sneering fun of somebody, that one. Now don't start on old poor Jamie, dear. It'll turn out right. It'll turn out all right in the end. You wait and see. Better start soon then. He's nearly 34. Good heavens. Are they going to stay in the dining room all day? Jamie, Edmund, come in the living room and give Kathleen a chance to clear the table. Edmund calls back. We're coming, Mama. You'd find excuses for him no matter what he did. Shush. Their sons, James Jr. and Edmund, enter together from the back parlor. They are both grinning, still chuckling over what has caused their laughter. And as they come forward, they glance at their father, and their grins grow broader. Jamie the elder is 33. He has his father's broad-shouldered, deep-chested physique, is an inch taller and weighs less, but appears shorter and stouter because he lacks Tyrone's bearing and graceful carriage. He also lacks his father's vitality. The signs of premature disintegration are on him. His face is still good-looking, despite marks of dissipation, but it has never been handsome like Tyrone's, although Jamie resembles him rather than his mother. He has fine eyebrows, their color midway between his father's lighter and his mother's darker ones. His hair is thinning, and already there is indication of a bald spot like Tyrone's. His nose is unlike that of any other member of the family, pronouncedly aquiline. Combined with his habitual expression of cynicism, it gives him contents of metaphilus and cast. But on the rare occasions when he smiles without sneering, his personality possesses the remnant of a humorous, romantic, irresponsible Irish charm, that of a beguiled and never do-weller, with a strain of sentimentally poetic, attractive to women and popular with men. He is dressed in an old stack suit, not as shabby as Tyrone's, and wears a collar and tie. His fair skin is sunburned, a reddish freckled tan. Edmund is 10 years younger than his brother, a couple inches taller, thin and wiry, where Jamie takes after his father, but with little resemblance to his mother. Edmund looks like both his parents, but is more like his mother. Her big dark eyes are the dominant feature of his long, narrow Irish face. His mouth has the same quality, hypersensitiveness hers possesses. His high forehead as hers is accentuated, with dark brown hair, sun-bleached at red ends, brushed straight back from it, but his nose is his father's and his face and profile recalls Tyrone's. Edmund's hands are noticeably like his mother's, with the same exceptionally long fingers. They even have a minor degree the same nervousness. It is in the quality of the extreme nervousness, sensibility, the likeness of Edmund to his mother is most marked. He is plainly in bad health, much thinner than he should be. His eyes appear feverish, and his cheeks are sunken. His skin, in spite of being sunburned a deep brown, has a parched sallowness. He wears a shirt, collar, a tie, no coat, oat flannel trousers, brown sneakers. Mary turns smiling to him in a merry tone that is a bit forced.
I've been teasing your father about his snoring. I'll leave it to the boys, James. They must have heard you. No, not you, Jamie. I could hear you down the hall almost as bad as your father. You're like him. As soon as your head touches the pillow, you're off, and 10 foghorns couldn't wake you up.
She abruptly catching Jamie's eyes regarding her with an uneasy, probing look, her smile vanishes and her manner becomes self-conscious.
Why are you staring, Jamie?
Her hands flutter up to her hair.
Is my hair coming now? Is it hard for me to do it up properly now? My eyes are getting so bad. I never can find my glasses.
Jamie looks away guiltily.
Your hair's all right, Mama. I was only thinking how well you look.
Just what I've been telling her, Jamie. She's so fat and sassy, there'll soon be no holding her.
Yes, you certainly look grand, Mama.
She is reassured and smiles at him lovingly. He winks with a kidding grin.
I'll back you up about Papa's snoring. Gosh,
what a racket. I heard him too. The more I know his trumpet. It takes my snoring to make you remember Shakespeare instead of the dope sheet on the ponies. I hope I'll keep on with it.
Now, James, you must be so touchy.
Jamie shrugs his shoulders and sits down in a chair on her right.
Yes, for Pete's sake, Papa. The first thing after breakfast, give it a rest, can't you?
He slumps down in the chair at the left table next to his brother. His father ignores him.
Your father wasn't finding fault in you. You don't have to always take Jamie's part. You'd think you were the one 10 years older.
It's all the fuss about. Let's forget it. Yes, forget. Forget everything and face nothing. It's a convenient philosophy if you have no ambition in life except to...
James, do be quiet. You must have gotten out on the wrong side of the bed this morning. What were you two grinning about like Cheshire cats when you came in? What was the joke?
You let us in on it, lads. I told your mother I knew damn well it would be the one on me. But never mind that, I'm used to it.
Don't look at me. This is the kid's story.
Don't look at me. This is a kid's story.
I meant to tell you last night, Papa, and I forgot about it. Yesterday, when I went for a walk, I dropped in at the inn. You shouldn't drink now, Edmund. And who do you think I met there? With a beautiful bun on, but Shaughnessy, the tenant on that farm of yours. That dreadful man. But he is funny.
He's not so funny when you're his landlord. He's a wily shanty Mick, that one. He could hide behind a corkscrew. What's he complaining about now, Edmund? For I'm damn sure he's complaining. I suppose he wants his rent lowered? I let him have the place for almost nothing, just to keep someone on it, and he never pays. That till I threatened to evict him. No, he didn't beef about anything. He was so pleased with life he even bought a drink. That's practically unheard of. He was delighted because he had a fight with your friend, Harker, the Standard Oil millionaire, and won a glorious victory.
Oh, Lord, James. You'll really have to do something. Bad luck to Shaughnessy, anyway. I'll bet the next time you see Harker at the club and give him the old respectful bow, he won't see you. Yes, Harker will think you're no gentleman for harboring a tenant who isn't humble in the presence of the King of America. Never mind the social scabble. I don't care to listen. Go on with your story. Well, you remember, Papa, the ice pond on Harker's estate is right next to the farm. You remember Shaughnessy keeps pigs? Well, it seems there's a break in the fence and the pigs have been bathing in the millionaire's ice pond. And Harker's foreman told him he was sure Shaughnessy had broken the fence on purpose to give his pigs a free wallow. Good heavens. I'm sure he did too. The dirty scallywag. It's like him. So Harker came in person to rebuke Shaughnessy. A very bonehead play. If I needed any further proof of our ruling plutocrats, especially the ones who inherited their boodle, are not mental giants, that would clinch it. Yes, he'd be no match for Shaughnessy. Keep your damn anarchist remarks to yourself. I won't have them in my house. What happened? Harker had as much chance as I would with Jack Johnson. Shaughnessy got a few drinks under his belt and was waiting at the gate to welcome him. He told me he never gave Harker a chance to open his mouth. He began by shouting that he was no slave Standard Oil could trample on. He was a king of Ireland, if he had his rights. And scum was scum to him, no matter how much money it had stolen from the poor. Oh, Lord. Then he accused Harker of making his foreman break down the fence to entice the pigs into the ice pond in order to destroy them. The poor pigs, Shaughnessy yelled, had caught their death of cold. Many of them were dying of pneumonia, and several others had been taken with cholera from drinking the poisoned water. He told Harker he was hiring a lawyer to sue him for the damages. And he wound up by saying that he had to put up with poison ivy, ticks, potato bugs, snakes, and skunks on his farm. But he was an honest man who drew the line somewhere, and he'd be damned if he'd stand for Standard Oil thief trespassing, so Harker kindly removed his dirty feet from the premises before he sicked the dog on him. And Harker did. He and Jamie laughed. Heavens. What a terrible tongue that man has. That damned old scoundrel. By God, you can't beat him. The dirty blackguard. He'll get me in serious trouble yet. I hope you told him I'd be mad as hell. I told him you'd be tickled to death over the great Irish victory. And so you are. Stop faking, Papa. Well, I'm not tickled to death. You are too, James. You're simply delighted. No, Mary, a joke is a joke. But I told Shaughnessy he should have reminded Harker that Standard Oil millionaire ought to welcome the flavor of hog in his ice water as an appropriate touch. The devil you did. Keep your damn socialist anarchist sentiments out of my affairs. Shaughnessy almost wept because he hadn't thought of that one, but he said he'd include it in the letter he's writing to Harker, along with a few other insults he'd overlooked. What are you laughing at? There's nothing funny. A fine Sunyard to help that blackguard get me into a lawsuit. Now, James, don't lose your temper. And you're worse than he is, encouraging him. I suppose you're regretting you weren't there to prompt Shaughnessy with a few nastier insults. You've a fine talent for that, if nothing else. James, there's no reason to scold Jamie. Jamie is about to make some sneering remark to his father, but he shrugs his shoulders. Oh, for God's sake, Papa. If you're starting that stuff again, I'll beat it. I left my book upstairs anyway. He goes to the front parlor saying disgustedly, God, Papa,
I should think you'd get sick of hearing yourself. He disappears, and Tyrone looks after him angrily.
You mustn't mind Edmund, James. Remember, he isn't well.
Edmund can be heard coughing as he goes upstairs. She adds nervously.
Summer cold makes anyone irritable.
It's not just a cold he's got. The kid is damn sick. His father gives a hint of sharp warning look, but he doesn't see it.
Why do you say that? It is just a cold. Anyone can tell that. You always imagine things.
All Jamie meant was Edmund might have a touch of something else too, which makes his cold worse. Sure, Mama, that's all I meant. Dr. Hardy thinks it might be a bit of malarial fever. He caught when he was in the tropics. If it is, canine should cure it soon.
Dr. Hardy? I wouldn't believe a thing he said if he swore on a stack of Bibles. I know what doctors are. They're all alike. Anything. They don't care what to keep you coming to them.
She stops short, overcome by a fit of acute self-consciousness as she catches their eyes fixed on her. Her hands jerk nervously to her hair. She forces a smile.
What is it? What are you looking at? Is my hair?
There's nothing wrong with your hair. The healthier and fatter you get, the vainer you become. You'll soon spend half the day primping before the mirror.
I really should have new glasses. My eyes are so bad now.
Your eyes are beautiful, and well you know it. He gives her a kiss. Her face lights up with a charming, shy embarrassment. Suddenly and startlingly, one sees her face, the girl she had once been. Not a ghost of the dead, but still a living part of her.
You mustn't be so silly, James. Right in front of Jamie?
Oh, he's on to you too? He knows this fuss about eyes and hair is only fishing for compliments, eh, Jamie?
Yes, you can't kid us, Mama. I did truly go along with both of you. But I did truly have beautiful hair once, didn't I, James?
The most beautiful in the world.
It's a rare shade of reddish brown and so long it came down below my knees. You ought to remember it too, Jamie. It wasn't until after Edmund was born that I had a single gray hair. Then it began to turn white.
That made it prettier than ever.
Will you listen to your father, Jamie? After 35 years of marriage, he isn't a great actor for nothing, is he? What's come over you, James? Are you pouring coals of fire on my head for teasing you about snoring? Well then, I take it back. It must have been only the foghorn I heard. But I can't stay with you any longer, even to hear your compliments. I must see the cook about dinner and the day's marketing. Bridget is so lazy, so sly. She begins telling me about her relatives, so I can't get a word in edgeways and scold her. Well, I might as well get over it.
She goes to the hack parlor doorway, then turns her face worried again.
You mustn't make Edmund work on the grounds with you, James. Remember. Not that he isn't strong enough, but he perspired. He might catch more cold.
She disappears through the back parlor. Tyrone turns on Jamie condemningly.
You're a fine lunkhead. Haven't you any nonsense? Haven't you any sense? The one thing to avoid is saying anything that would get her more upset over Edmund. All right. Have it your way. I think it's the wrong idea to let Mama go on kidding yourself. It will only make the shock worse when she has to face it. Anyway, you can see she's deliberately fooling herself with that summer cold talk. She knows better. Knows? Nobody knows yet. I do. I was with Edmund when he went to Doc Hardy on Monday.
I heard him pull that touch of malaria stuff. He was stalling. That isn't what he thinks anymore. You know it as well as I do. You talked to him in your uptown yesterday, didn't you? Couldn't say anything for sure yet. He's to phone me today before Edmund goes to him. He thinks it's consumption, doesn't he, Papa? Said it might be. Jamie moved his love for his brother coming out. Poor kid. God damn it. Might have never happened if you'd sent him to a real doctor when he first got sick. What's the matter with Hardy? He's always been our doctor up here. Everything's the matter with him. Even in this hick burg, he's rated 3rd class. He's a cheap old quack. That's right, run him down. Run down everybody. Everyone is a fake to you. Hardy only charges $1. That's what makes you think he's a fine doctor. That's enough. You're not drunk now. There's no excuse. Do you mean I can't afford one of the fine society doctors who prey on the rich summer people? Can't afford? You're one of the biggest property owners around here. That doesn't mean I'm rich. It's all mortgage. Because you always buy more instead of paying off mortgages. If Edmund was a lousy acre of land you wanted, the sky would be the limit. That's a lie. And your sneers against Dr. Hardy are lies. He doesn't put on frills, or have an office in a fashionable location, or drive around in an expensive automobile. That's what you pay for with those other $5 to look at your tongue fellows, not their skill. All right, I'm a fool to argue. You can't change the leopard spots. No, you can't. You taught me that lesson only too well. I've lost all hope you will ever change yours. You dare tell me what I can afford. You've never known the value of $1 and never will. You never saved $1 in your life. At the end of each season, you're penniless. You've thrown your salary away every week on whores and whiskey. My salary? Christ! It's more than you're worth. You couldn't get that if it wasn't for me. If you were my son, there isn't a manager in this business who would give you a part. Your reputation stinks so. As it is, I have to humble my pride and beg for you, saying you've turned over a new leaf, although I know it's a lie. I never wanted to be an actor. You forced me on the stage. That's a lie. You made no effort to find anything else to do. You left it to me to get you a job, and I have no influence except in the theater. Forced you? You never wanted anything except loaf and bar rooms. You'd have been content to sit back like a lazy lunk and sponge on me for the rest of your life. After all the money I'd wasted on your education, and all you did was get fired and disgraced from every college you went to? Oh, for God's sake, don't drag up that ancient history. It's not ancient history that you have to come home every summer to live with me. I earn my board and lodging working on the grounds. It saves you hiring a man. Bah! You have to be driven to do even that much. I wouldn't give a damn if you ever displayed the slightest sign of gratitude. The only thanks is to have you sneer at me for the dirty miser, sneer at my profession, sneer at every damn thing in the world, except yourself. It's not true, Papa. You can't hear me talking to myself, that's all. Ingratitude, the vilest weed that grows. I could see that line coming. God, how many times? How many thousand times? All right, Papa, I'm a bum. Anything you like, so long as it stops the argument. If you get ambition in your head instead of folly, you're young yet. You could still make your mark. You had the talent to become a fine actor. You still have it. You're my son. It's forgive me. I'm not interested in the subject. Neither are you. Who started us on this? Oh, Doc Hardy. When is he going to call you up about Edmund? Around lunchtime. I couldn't have sent Edmund to a better doctor. Hardy's treated him whenever he was sick up here, since he was a knee high. He knows his constitution as no other doctor could. It's not a question of my being miserly, or you'd like to make out. And what could the finest specialist in America do for Edmund after he's deliberately ruined his health by the mad life he's led ever since he was fired from college? Even before that, he was in prep school. He began dissipating in playing the Broadway sport to imitate you. When he's never had your constitution to stand it, you're a healthy hulk like me, or you were at his age. But he's always been a bundle of nerves like his mother. I've warned him for years his body couldn't stand it, but he wouldn't heed me. And now it's too late. What do you mean too late? You talk as if you thought, don't be a damn fool. I meant nothing but what's plain to anyone. His health is broken down, and he may be invalid for a long time. I know it's an Irish peasant idea consumption is fatal. Probably is when you live in a hovel on a bog, but over here, modern treatment? Don't I know that? What are you gabbing about anyway? Keep your dirty tongue off Ireland. With your sneers about peasants and bogs and hovels, the less you say about Edmund's sickness, the better for your conscience. You're more responsible than anyone. It's a lie. I won't stand for that, Papa. It's the truth. You've been the worst influence for him. He grew up admiring you as a hero, a fine example you set. If you ever gave him advice except in the ways of rottenness, I've never heard of it. You made him old before his time, pumping him full of whatever you consider worldly wisdom. When he was too young to see that your mind was so poisoned by your own failure in life, you wanted to believe every man was a knave with his soul for sale, and every woman who wasn't a whore was a fool. All right, I did put Edmund wise to things, but not until I saw he started to raise hell. I knew he'd laugh at me if I tried to give the good advice, the older brother stuff. All I did was make a pal of him. Be absolutely frank, so he learned from my mistakes that, well, if you can't be good, you can at least be careful. It's a rotten accusation, Papa. You know how much the kid means to me. How close we've always been. Not like usual brothers. I'd do anything for him. I know you may have thought it was for the best, Jamie. I didn't say you did it deliberately to harm him. Besides, it's damn right. I'd like to see anyone influence Edmund more than he wants to be. His quietness fools people into thinking they can do what they like with him. But he's stubborn as hell inside. What he does is what he wants to do. And to hell with anyone else. What did I do with all the crazy stunts he pulled in the last few years? Working his way all over the map as a sailor and all that stuff? I thought I thought that was a damn fool idea, and I told him so. You can't imagine me getting fun out of being on the beach in South America or living in filthy dives, drinking vodka, can you? No, thanks. I'll stick to Broadway. In a room with a bath. In bars that serve bonded bourbon. You and Broadway. It's made you what you are. Whatever Edmund's done, he's had the guts to go off on his own. Where he couldn't come whining to me a minute he was broke. He's always come home broke, finally. Hasn't he? What did his going away get him? Look at him now. Christ. It's a lousy thing to say. I don't mean that. He's been doing well on paper. I was hoping he'd found work that he wants to do at last. A Hicktown rag. Whatever bowl they hand you, they tell me he's a pretty bum reporter. If he weren't your son... No, that's not true. We're glad to have him. But it's special stuff that gets him by. Some of the poems and parodies he's written are damn good. Not that they'd ever get him anywhere, the big time. He certainly made a damn good start. Yes, he's made a start. He used to talk about wanting to become a newspaper man, but you were never willing to start at the bottom. You expected, oh, for Christ's sakes, Papa, can't you lay off me? It's damnable luck Edmund should be sick right now. Couldn't have come at a worse time for him. Or for your mother. Damnable she should have to have this to upset her. Just when she's needs peace and freedom from worry. She's been so well in the 2 months since she came home. It's been heaven to me. This home has been a home again. But I need to tell you, Jamie, his son looks at him for the first time with an understanding sympathy. It is as if suddenly deep bond of common feeling existed between them in which their antagonisms could be forgotten. I felt the same way, Papa. Yes. This time you can see how strong and sure of herself she is. She's a different woman entirely from the other times. She has control of her nerves. She had until Edmund got sick. Now you can feel her growing tense and frightened underneath. I wish to God we could keep her from the truth from her. But we can if he has to be sent to a sanatorium. What makes it worse is her father died of consumption. She worshipped him, and she's never forgotten. Yes, it will be hard for her. She can do it. She has the willpower now. We must help her, Jamie. Every way we can. Of course, Papa. Outside of nerves, she seems perfectly all right this morning. Never better. She's full of fun and mischief. Why do you say seems? Why shouldn't she be all right? What the hell do you mean? The door jumps down my throat. God, Papa, it ought to be one thing we could talk over frankly without a battle. I'm sorry, Jimmy. But go on. Tell me. There's nothing to tell. I was all wrong. It's just that last night, well, you know how it is. I can't forget the past. I can't help being suspicious. Any more than you can. That's the hell of it. And it makes it hell for Mama. She watches us watching her. I know. Well, what was it? Can't you speak out? Nothing. I tell you, just my damn foolishness. Around 3 o'clock this morning, I woke up and I heard her moving around in the spare room. Then she went in the bathroom. I pretended to be asleep. She stopped in the hall to listen, as if she wanted to make sure I was okay. For
God's sake, is that all?
She told me herself the fogger kept her awake all night. Every night since Edmund's been sick, she's been up and down, going into his room, seeing how he was. Yes, that's right. She didn't stop to listen outside the room. It was her being in the spare room that scared me. I couldn't help remembering that when she starts sleeping alone in there, it's always been a sign. It isn't this time. It's easily explained. Where else could she go last night to get away from my snoring? By God, how can you live with a mind that sees nothing but the worst motives behind everything is beyond me? Don't pull that. You just said I was all wrong. Don't you suppose I'm as glad of that as you are? I'm sure you are, Jamie. A pause. His expression becomes somber. He speaks slowly with a superstitious dread. It would be like a curse if she can't escape the worry over Edmund. It was her long sickness after bringing him into the world that she didn't have anything to do with it. I'm not blaming her. Then who are you blaming? Edmund for being born? You damn fool. No one was to blame. The bastard of doctor was, from what Mama said. He was another cheap quack like Hardy. You wouldn't pay for the first rate. That's a lie. So I'm to blame. That's what you're driving at, is it? You evil-minded loafer. Jamie warningly as he hears his mother in the dining room. Shh. Tyrone gets hastily to his feet and goes to look out the windows and right. Jamie speaks with a complete change of tone. Well, we're going to cut the front edge today. We better go to work. Mary comes from the black parlor and she gives a quick, suspicious glance from one to the other, her manner nervously self-conscious. Yes, it's too fine this morning to waste indoors arguing. Take a look out the window, Mary. There's no fog in the harbor. I'm sure the spell of it we've had is over now. I hope so, dear. Did I actually hear you suggesting work on the front hedge, Jamie? Wonders will never cease. You must want pocket money badly. When don't I? I expect a salary of at least one large Iron Man at the end of the week to carouse on. What were you two arguing about? Same old stuff. I heard you say something about a doctor and your father accusing you of being evil-minded. Oh, then I was saying again, Dr. Hardy isn't my idea of the world's greatest physician. Oh. No, I wouldn't say he was either. Aunt Bridget, I thought I could never get away. She told me about her second cousin on the police force in St. Louis. Well, if you're going to work on the hedge, why don't you go? I mean, take advantage of the sunshine before the fog comes back. Because I know I will. Or should I say, the rheumatism in my hands knows. It's a better weather prophet than you are, James. Oh, how ugly they are. Who'd ever believe they were once beautiful? They stare at her with a growing dread. Tyrone takes her hands and gently pushes them down. Now, Mary. None of that foolishness. They're the sweetest hands in the world. She smiles, her face lighting up, and kisses him gratefully. Then he turns to his son. Come on, Jamie. Your mother's right to scold us. The way to start work is to start work. The hot sun will sweat some of that booze fat off your middle. He opens the screen door and goes out on the porch and disappears down a flight of steps leading to the ground. Jamie rises from his chair and taking off his coat, goes to the door. At the door, he turns back but avoids looking at her, and she goes not look at him. We're all so proud of you, Mama. So darn happy. She stiffens and stares at him with a frightened defiance. He flounders on. But you still gotta be careful. You mustn't worry about Edmund so much. He'll be alright. Mary with a stubborn, bitterly resentful look. Of course he'll be alright. I don't know what you mean. Warning me to be careful. Alright, Mama, I'm sorry I spoke. He goes out on the porch. She waits rigidly until he disappears down the steps. Then she sinks down in the chair he had occupied, her face betraying a frightened, fervent desperation, her hands roving over the tabletop, aimlessly moving objects around. She hears Edmund descending the stairs in the front hall. As he nears the bottom, he has a fit of coughing. She springs to her feet as if she wanted to run away from the sound and goes quickly out to the windows at right. She is looking out, apparently calm, as he enters from the parlor. A book in one hand, she turns to him, her lips set in welcoming motherly smile.
Here you are. I was just going upstairs to look for you. I waited until they went out. I don't want to mix up in any arguments. I feel too rotten. Oh, I'm sure you don't feel half as badly as you make out. You're such a baby. You like to get us worried, so we'll make a fuss over you. I'm only teasing, dear. I know how miserably uncomfortable it must be. But you feel better today, don't you? All the same, you've grown much too thin. You need to rest all you can. Sit down. I'll make you comfortable. He sits down in the rocking chair and she puts a pillow behind his back. There. How's that? Grand. Thanks, Mama. All you need is your mother to nurse you. Big as you are. You're still the baby of the family to me, you know. Edmund takes her hand with deep seriousness. Don't mind me. You take care of yourself. That's all that counts. But I am, dear. Heavens, don't you see how fat I've grown? I'll have to have all my dresses let out. She turns away and goes to the windows at the right. She tips a light, amused tone. He started clipping the hedge. Poor Jamie. How he hates working in the front where everyone passing can see him. There go the Chatfields in their new Mercedes. It's a beautiful car, isn't it? Not like our second-hand Packard. Poor Jamie. He bent almost under the hedge so they wouldn't notice it. They bowed to your father, and he bowed back as if you were taking a curtain call. That filthy old suit I've tried to make him throw away. Her voice has grown bitter. Really, he ought to have more pride than make such a show of himself. He's right not to give a damn what anyone thinks. Jamie's a fool to care about the Chatfields. For Pete's sake, who ever heard of them outside this Hickburg? No one. You're quite right, Edmund. Big frogs in a small puddle. It is stupid of Jamie. She pauses, looking out the window, and then with an undercurrent of lonely yearning. Still, the Chatfields and people like them stand for something. I mean, they have decent, presentable homes they don't have to be ashamed of. They have friends who entertain them, whom they entertain. They're not cut off from everyone. She turns back from the window. Not that I want anything to do with them. I've always hated this town and everyone in it. You know that. I never wanted to live here in the first place, but your father liked it and insisted on building this house, and I've had to come here every summer. Well, it's better than spending the summer in New York hotel, isn't it? This town's not so bad. I like it well enough. But suppose it's because the only home we've had. I never felt it was my home. It was wrong from the start. Everything was done in the cheapest way. Your father would never spend money to make it right. It's just as well we haven't had any friends here. I'd be ashamed to have them step in the door. But he's never wanted any family friends. He hates calling on people or receiving them. All he likes is to hobnob with men at the club or in the barroom. Jamie and you are the same way, but you're not to blame. Never had a chance to meet decent people here. I know you both would have been so different. You've been able to associate with nice girls instead of never have to disgrace yourself as you have. So that now no respectable parents will let their daughters be seen with you. Oh, Mama, forget it. Who cares? Jamie and I would have been bored stiff. About the old man. It's the use of talking. You can't change him. Don't call your father the old man. You should have more respect. I know it's useless talk, but sometimes I feel so lonely.
Her lips quiver, and then she keeps her head turned away.
Anyway, you've got to be fair, Mama. It may have been all his fault in the beginning, but he knows that later on. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't have had people here. I mean, you wouldn't have wanted them.
Mary went seeing her lips quivering pitifully.
Don't. I can't bear having you remind me. Don't take it that way, please, Mama. I'm trying to help, because it's bad for you to forget. The right way is to remember, so you'll always be on your guard. You know what's happened before. God, Mama, you know I hate to remind you. Do it because it's so wonderful having you home the way you've been. It would be terrible. Please, dear. I know you mean it for the best, but
A defensive uneasiness comes into her voice again.
I don't understand why you should suddenly say such things. What put this in your mind this morning? Nothing, just because I feel rotten blue, I suppose. Tell me the truth. Why are you so suspicious all of a sudden? I'm not. Yes, you are. I can feel it. Your father and Jamie, too, particularly Jamie. Now, don't start imagining things, Mama. Makes it so much harder living in this atmosphere of constant suspicion, knowing everyone is spying on me. None of you believe in me or trust me. That's crazy, Mama. We do trust you. There was only some place I could go to get away for a day, or even an afternoon. Some woman friend I could talk to, not about anything serious, simply laugh and gossip and forget for a while. Someone besides the servants, that stupid Kathleen. Stop it, Mama. Getting yourself worked up over nothing. Your father goes out. He meets his friends in bar rooms or at the club. You and Jamie have the boys, you know. You go out, but I'm alone. I've always been alone. Come on now. You know that's a fib. One of us always stays around to keep you company, or goes with you in the automobile when you take a drive, because you're afraid to trust me alone. I insist you tell me why you act so differently this morning. Why you felt you had to remind me. Stupid. Just that I wasn't asleep when you came in my room last night. You didn't go back to your and Papa's room. You went in the spare room for the rest of the night. Because your father's snoring was driving me crazy, for heaven's sake. Haven't I often used the spare room as my bedroom? I see what you thought. That was when I didn't think anything, so you pretended to be asleep in order to spy on me. No! I did it because I knew if you found out I was
feverish and couldn't sleep, it would upset you. Jamie was pretending to be asleep too, I'm sure. I suppose your father. Stop it, Mama. Oh, I can't bear it, Edmund. When even you. Her hands flutter up to pat her hair in their aimless, distracted way. Suddenly, a strange undercurrent of revengefulness comes into her voice. It would serve all of you right if it was true. Mama, don't say that. That's the way you talk when... Stop suspecting me, please, dear. You hurt me. I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about you. That's the real reason. I've been so worried ever since you've been sick. She puts her arms around him and hugs him with a frightened, protective tenderness. That's foolish. You know it's only a bad cold. Yes, of course, I know that. Listen, Mama. I want you to promise me that even if it should turn out to be something worse, you'll know I'll soon be all right again. And anyway, you won't worry yourself sick. You keep on taking care of yourself. I won't listen when you're so silly. There's absolutely no reason to talk as if you've expected something dreadful. Of course, I promise you, I will give you my sacred word of honor. But I suppose you're remembering I've promised before on my word of honor. No! Mary, her bitterness receding into resigned helplessness. I'm not blaming you, dear. How can you help it? How can anyone of us forget? That's what makes it so hard for all of us. We can't forget. Edmund grabs her shoulder. Mama, stop it! Ugh. Mary forces a smile. All right, dear. I didn't mean to be so gloomy. Don't mind me. Here, let me feel your head. Why, it's nice and cool. Certainly haven't any fever now. Forget! It's you! I'm quite all right, dear. With a quick, strange, calculating, almost sly glance at him. Except I naturally feel tired and nervous this morning after such a bad night. I really ought to go upstairs and lie down until lunchtime and take a nap. He gives her an instinctive look of suspicion, then ashamed of himself, looks quickly away. She hurries on nervously. What are you going to do, leave here? It would be much better for you to go out in the fresh air and sunshine. But don't get overheated, remember. Be sure and wear a hat. She stops, looking straight at him now. He avoids her eyes. There's a tense pause, then she speaks jeeringly. Are you
afraid to trust me alone. No! Can't you stop talking like that? I think you ought to take a nap.
He goes to the screen door, forcing a joking tone.
I'll go down and help Jamie bear up. I love to lie in the shade and watch him work.
He forces a laugh in which she makes herself join. Then he goes out on the porch and disappears down the steps. Her first reaction is one of relief. She appears to relax. She sinks down in one of the wicker armchairs at her rear table and leans her head back, closing her eyes, but suddenly she grows terribly tense again. Her eyes open, and she strains forward. Seized by a fit of nervous panic, she begins a desperate battle with herself. Her long fingers, warped and knotted by rheumatism, drum on the arm of the chair, driven by an insistent life of their own, without her consent. Curtain. Thank you. That has been Act 1 of an original work. Long Day's Journey into Night. My name is Mitchell Teatherford, and I'm a playwright.